It's got a lot of letters to it, and you've heard it a lot during the debates. Universal basic income. It's one of the signature policy proposals of the Andrew Yang campaign. He calls it the freedom dividend. Every adult over 18 years old gets $1,000 each and every month, or $12,000 a year. No strings. It's been done before, for years in Alaska, for instance, as you hear from the campaign. But what about in the lower 48? Well, this New Hampshire family was selected by Yang to test that all out. Chuck, Jody, and their daughter, Charles Fassi, say the extra money changed their habits and even their health for the better. With me now to talk about that experience, Chuck Fassi. Chuck, thanks for joining us today.
How you doing, Richard? Thanks for having me.
You betcha, you betcha.
Especially with all the crazy stuff going on in the news right now.
Yeah, but you know,
realize that there's a presidential primary going on.
There is something going on, and I know that you're very involved in the primary yourself. How do you get the money each and every month? Does it come in a check? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a personal check. We actually, Andrew, so the first recipients, I believe he was paying, directly out of his personal fund. So he actually gave us personal checks directly out of his checking account.
So it said, to Chuck Fassi, signed by Andrew Yang.
Well, my wife, Jody, is the one who's actually technically getting it. She's a little camera shy. So it's to Jody Fassi from Andrew Yang.
Well, how about that? And now, how did you spend the money? What did you do with it? Would you deposit it? Would you cash it immediately? What would you do with that check?
Well, it would immediately get deposited in the bank. I mean, we have a daughter in college, and so these were expenses that were, kind of what we had to deal with. So we knew that most of that money was going to be going towards her tuition.
In general, how would that money be spent? 10% for that? 50% for that?
Oh, it was probably 95% for college, maybe 5% for incidentals. We did notice that our spending habits were probably a little bit more laxed because we didn't have to dip into our savings to pay for her college. I mean, we did have some money saved, but, it definitely made us rethink about, things that we normally wouldn't purchase because we didn't have to dip into the savings for that.
Did this mean that you spent more on things that you wouldn't otherwise, which is what the Yang campaign might say that's good because you're contributing to the economy?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made us purchase things that, like we were definitely looking at fresh food and, things that we probably wouldn't necessarily purchase if money was a little tighter. So, definitely spending stuff in our local economy, going to the grocery store, buying things, going out to the local restaurants, maybe a night out here and there. So it definitely changed our spending habits so we weren't so concerned about, where every penny was going.
You've heard the cost. The price tag is estimated at $3 trillion a year. $3 trillion a year. That means more debt, potentially more costs to the country, and therefore taxpayers have to pay for it. Do you think it's worth that amount for you and your daughter?
Do I think it's worth that amount? Yeah. I mean, where were you guys talking about this when we had the banking crisis, and this enormous tax cut? I just love how we don't have the money when it's going towards helping average Americans, but we have plenty of money when it goes towards helping big banks, corporations. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
How much, if you had to give it 1 to 10, did it improve your lifestyle and your family? 1 to 10. 10 being good, 1 being not so good.
I mean, I don't want to say it's a 10, but I know it was up there probably around 7 or 8. Definitely I lost my job, and this helped supplement a lot of the income because I was able to find another one, but at a, reduced salary. Yeah. So we had to kind of cut back quite a bit. So, we were taking this for a year, and, we actually just got our last check. So now we're kind of coming to that time where, we don't have this income supplementing my loss of income. So we're going to have to cut back,
All right. Well, one of the few folks that got the $1,000 a month from the Yang campaign, and he's been saying it a lot, we thought we'd speak with somebody who finished an entire year with UBI. Thank you so much, Chuck Fassi. Enjoy your Sunday.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
All right, you bet. Coming up, Nancy.